Hi, my name is Anita Stryker, and I'm going to explain the concept of a light second register in singing. So the light second register applies to a particular part of a female voice, and the range of that voice falls roughly between a middle C and a C an octave above that. In that range, there's two different ways that a female can make sound. One way is called belt or mixed voice, and the quality of sound that you use to sing in that range is very similar to speaking. And it's kind of like that intense pop sound where it's almost like you're wailing or yelling, and it can be really healthy if it's done with a lot of breath support and a lot of energy. The other way that you can sing in this range is called your light second register, and I will explain later why it is so important for soprano voices to develop this register, and also why you might be resistant to developing this register. Or at least I was. I don't want to project that onto you if it's not true. So the light second register, it sounds like this. I am alive. And you can say that after me. I am alive. It has a different quality. It's much, you hear it. So, where was I? So the reason it's important to develop the light second range in a female voice is because it gives her access to singing much, much higher. And it also it can align and balance the voice and kind of relax the vocal cords. So I'm going to explain my personal story because hopefully you can relate, or you know someone who can relate. And then I'm going to explain a little bit more about the importance and the techniques around finding this part of the voice. So as I said, I'm a coloratura soprano, which means I have a very, very high voice, if you know anything about singing, or at least I have the capacity to sing that high. And I've known this for a while, and when I first started singing, I couldn't figure out why I wasn't able to sing high with ease. As my voice would get higher, it would get more tense. It would just be uncomfortable. It would feel unstable. And for a long time, this went unnoticed by voice teachers because it sounded fine. It actually sounded good. In fact, I was encouraged to sing that way because it sounded good. But I knew it was just all tied up in knots and didn't feel good. And it only sounded good up to a certain note, and then it didn't sound good anymore. So that was because I never took the time to find my light second register. And I used that first way instead that I was talking about, but I didn't realize I was doing that. So I just used my belt voice. And I have a super high voice, and coloratura sopranos have the most flexible of any kind of voice type. So we really can just like belt all the time and no one knows. And that's what I was doing. So then I got a voice teacher who told me about this whole light second register thing. And I started singing in my light second register. And at first, I was like, really? This sound? It sounded in my head like a little girl voice, like it was so tiny, and it felt so weak, and I was like, is this really what my voice is going to sound like? But then it was undeniable how much ease I had. It was like everything here just released. And that tension that would come up when I sang higher, it just wasn't there anymore. And more and more and more it became clear that accessing that lighter sound helped me to sing, helped my voice to be in alignment so that I could sing the crazy high notes that coloraturas are supposed to be able to sing. So that's why it's important, is because my story really isn't unique. a lot of people have their belt voice, their mixed voice very developed because it's the range that we speak in. And a lot of people just haven't, when those muscles get really dominant, almost like when those muscles are too flexible, then they will just take over, and then the lighter muscles will never develop. And our voice, all the registers in our voice, there's kind of two polar end opposites, where this is the really light sound that you can use to sing really, really high, where it's a different set of muscles that engages. It's the cricothyroid, and they allow you to, they tilt back and forth rather than going up and down. And they just allow you to sing really, really, really high. And then down here at the low end of your range, the thyroarytenoid muscles are what engages, and in those muscles the larynx moves up and down rather than tilting back and forth. And then the registers in between are some combination of that. And so what you want is a balanced voice. You want these really high muscles to be developed, and you want these really low muscles to be developed. And if you have either one that is kind of taking over and grabbing for control, where it would be more useful to use either a combination of the two or more one than the other, then you have an imbalance. And I definitely had an imbalance. And you know you have an imbalance when there's discomfort or tension or instability. So by accessing that lighter sound, it kind of develops the other half of the muscles that can help with singing in that range. And once you develop those muscles, everything gets easier. Even belting, even singing in that soulful, more /pop sound will get easier. Let's see if there's anything else I want to say about the light second range. Nope. I just kind of want to give you an exercise around how you can access it. It's just speaking in that range. So I have this book. So I'm going to say some things and you can repeat after me in the light second range. I am loyal to myself and others. And in this range, you kind of can aim the sound about right here. I am true to what I believe in. And I am true to who I believe in. My values are grounded in spiritual principles. I place principles before personalities. I do not shape my loyalties to fit convenience. So you can repeat after I say things. The bedrock of my life is valuing what I know to be true and real. On this I stake all else. So you can see it sounds and feels different when we speak up there, but then when you turn that voice into singing, it can feel really good. So that's my video on the light second register. I hope that it's helpful. I recommend developing this voice if you're a new singer, singing songs in this range, doing vocal exercises, starting your warm-ups in this middle range in the lighter sound. And then when you're more developed, you want to actually maybe even start higher, or maybe approach from higher and from lower depending on your voice. And if you're unsure or if you have any questions, I recommend finding a local singing teacher for support. Have a wonderful day. Bye.